Shalom. I'd like to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And shalom to you sincere, hopeful, elect brothers and sisters listening and learning, and to you brothers preaching and teaching this truth through the four corners of the earth. That's the brother Nathan come out of the GMS Indianapolis camp. Coming back with a one through the spirit. This video here on TikTok. This is about 6 days ago. This is about two Chinese nationalists bringing over some type of fungus, that destroys crops and it can make people very sick. So, hey, this is part of the Lord's program, man. All right, he's shaking things up. There's a whole lot going on right now. You see the riots happening in LA, and it appears like these riots are gonna possibly be United States wide come Saturday, so we'll see about that. Hey, Yahweh Shem is doing this thing, man. And we're for it. True men of the Lord, we're hastening the coming of Yahweh Shem, so we're looking forward to this.
Are accused of smuggling a dangerous fungus into the U.S. that experts say could be a potential terror weapon targeting agriculture. This is a microscopic view of that fungus known to cause billions of dollars in damage to crops, including wheat, barley, and rice worldwide every year. If consumed by humans, it can cause liver damage and birth defects. One of the suspects allegedly caught with the fungus hidden in his luggage at the Detroit airport. The DOJ claims he lied, saying that he was just there to visit his girlfriend, a Chinese visiting research fellow at the University of Michigan, but later confessed to having it. We'll stay on this. Chinese national.
Yeah, because I was looking more into the article. There's an article about it. They got caught in Detroit, right, with this fungus, and that they planned on, part of the scheme was to go to the University of Michigan, to to use their lab or whatever. So I don't know if they was gonna plant it there and leave a trace there, so to make it seem like it was homegrown issue, So hey, so it's going down, and here it is. This is supposed to be China, right? Moab, right? Enemy to Esau, even so-called white man. So part of this whole World War III, and so we'll see what comes of this. But this is gonna be a thing, And then of course Esau can say this, and then all of a sudden there's a spread of this so-called fungus and starts destroying crops. Let me see if because I even seen if it can cause liver damage, if consumed, part of it, and it attacks wheat, corn, barley, the essential crops that, especially here in America, that they grow here. Even rice, even though I don't believe we make rice, grow rice here. I think that's more so in like Vietnam and shit like that, but I could be wrong. Let me get into it. This is out here walking and talking. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 5, it's verse 6, I'll just start at 6. It says, "And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, and pestilences, and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows." Yep, and the key part of the prophecy was the pestilence. See, that's a pestilence that could break out, and cause what? The famine. Part of the famine. All right. So that famine and the pestilence, that could go hand in hand with something like that. All right. And ultimately, it's going to happen because what Yahweh Shah prophesied is going to happen. All right, and we're seeing the signs, of over the last couple of years, different food distributors, meat processing factories being burnt up, destroyed. All right. chicken farms, egg production being jacked up. That's why the prices have gone up. All these are factors towards this famine. And then also there's been pestilences amongst, like, the birds, like the bird flu, right? That was going through, they still talk about it here and there. But they had to kill a lot of chicken, millions and millions of different chickens and turkeys, that are mass produced, even people's backyard chickens. Okay, so that's why ultimately, we see these riots in LA over being deported, deportations, right? How much more when people are starving to death, when the lack of bread, how then are they gonna fight? They're gonna get busy. Right now motherfuckers is looting, shit like Nike stores and shit like that and jewelry during the midst of this chaos, right? Stealing silly shit, But it's gonna get really crazy when these grocery stores are raided. Okay, and that's coming. So all it takes is an event like that to where all of a sudden there's a pestilence moving through the crops, not only here in America but worldwide. Because we import a lot of food as well. Well, guess what? If the importers' food is getting destroyed, they're going to hold back to make sure they can feed their nation. See, people don't think about that. All right, they just think it's just gonna, especially here in America, Babylon the Great. They just think it's gonna keep on going and keep on going and keep on going. Until eventually, what? It all runs out. You already see certain things in the grocery stores too that, they downsize the grocery stores to make it seem like the storehouses are full, right? They got a lot of the same repeat products on there. 3 rows of the same fucking crackers or something, Same for the juice, just certain shit you just notice. And they make it seem like, oh, see, there's no lack of food. I'm like, yeah, but they took down 7 rows of shelves and consolidated and made it seem like, then now, or they, added just more processed foods that ain't real foods anyways. So yeah, this thing is coming to life, man. And Lord willing, this be the year, man. But if not, we're very, very close. Okay. Like I said, you got to be in the spirit of hastening. Hastening is coming. Let's go to. Let's get this real quick. What's the book of Sirach, chapter 40, and verse 8? It reads, "Such things happen unto all flesh, both man and beast, and that is 7-fold more upon sinners. Death and bloodshed, strife and sword, calamities, famine, tribulation, and the scourge. These things are created for the wicked, and for their sakes came the flood." Yeah. So all these pestilences, all right, the death and destruction that's coming upon the face of this earth, all these judgments, all the bloodshed, that's been set up for the wicked. All right. Not only the wicked, these wicked nations, right? Starting with Esau, Edom, so-called white man. Hey, even 2/3 the wicked of our people, of you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, those of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. All right, the Lord is going to consider you in those days, all right, as the heathen, man. You're going to get a heathenistic judgment because why? You didn't seek the Lord while he may be found. You didn't call upon him while he's near, Isaiah 55:6. All right? Hey, you mock the messengers of Yahweh Shem Shai, because that's how we're near. That's how the Lord's near, through his men, his ambassadors that he set up. All right, we're in the we're representing Yahweh Shem Shai. So if you go against us, hey, you go against the Lord. So that's why, hey, we get upset sometimes. People want to mock and scoff, but then we realize, hey, they just mark themselves. We ain't got to go and take vengeance. You know, it's gonna come upon their own head. You ain't got to worry about none of that. Vengeance is mine, I shall repay, says the Lord. You ain't gotta worry about that. We're just doing our job. Just being mouthpieces for Yahweh Shemel Shai, bringing out His word. We're not coming out of our own belly just speaking what we want to speak. But that's what people think. They want to look at the outward appearance of who are them with they broke selves wearing them dresses. Or man, I knew him in high school. Or that's my cousin. He ain't on nothing. I know we used to smoke weed together. Blah blah blah. Not understanding that we're changed men. We're not the same men. You know, the old us died in the world, man. We're a new creature. But see, the world don't understand that because how about Shema has them blinded? You know. So when these pestilences pop up like this and people start looking around for answers, then it's gonna be too late. Because matter of fact, just thinking about it, let's get this real quick. The Second Chronicles 36 and 15, it says, and Yahweh Shem Shai, God of their fathers, sent to them by his messengers. And here it is, we're the messengers. All right? Rising up betimes and sending because he had compassion on his people and on his dwelling place. Right. So Yahweh Shem Shai loves the children of Israel. All right, they're the apple of his eye. But what did Jake do? Want to do the exact opposite. All right? They don't want to listen to the Lord. All right, they're a rebellious house. Why do Yahweh Shema Shai they're rebellious, man? Why do they sit their stuff, their mind is an adamant stone, man. Hard-headed, man. Don't want to listen. All right? Just like I said, them same spirits from Egypt here are back here today. That's how you know reincarnation is real. Like the scriptures say in Ecclesiastes, there's no new thing under the sun. All right, these same spirits are back, redoing it. It's the same playbook, just different timeline, right? And those that have the eyes to see and ears to hear, they're understanding what's going on, and that's us of the hopeful elect, man. Okay. Verse 16 it says, "But they mocked the messengers of Yahweh Shema Shai, and despised his words and misused his prophets, until the wrath of Yahweh Shema Shai rose against his people till there was no remedy." See? And that's what's going to happen. All right? Because really, the people he's going to destroy, hey, right now they're not as his people. All right? Just like in Romans the 9th chapter, it talks about what? They're not all Israel that are of Israel. All right? So that's why they're going to get played with major judgments. All right? They're going to get jacked up. Because they wanted to play the harlot, all right? They wanted to go after these other guys. They wanted to go after these other philosophies, all right? They wanted to make themselves, they wanted to be in that do as thou will spirit, all right? So that's why they're going to get destroyed, because they're rebellious, man. And like the scriptures say, rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, all right? So if rebellion is the sin of witchcraft, right? So what's the judgment for being a witch? Right, being put to death. Okay? It says, suffer not a witch to live. All right, so hey, that's okay. So as we keep reporting the calamities, the judgments that are being put out by Yahweh Shema Shai, we're putting out these prophecies, the future events that are gonna rain down here on America, Babylon the Great, and across the four corners of the earth, and you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans don't want to hear it, or want to pull the shoulder away, or want to not listen, want to talk, mock, and scoff. It's all right, because you're gonna earn the judgment that you're gonna get. All right. So with that, I pray that was edifying to the elect. I like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone.